Well, hey, everybody. You're so festive today, and we love that. We like y'all having a good time. Today's a special day. Mindy and Rich and Liam are with us today from California. And yes, welcome. And I'm going to try hard not to be the proud papa and grandpapa, but I can't help it. So I just want to tell you a little bit about Rich. He grew up here in Jacksonville, graduated from Stanton, went to Nashville to Belmont University to major in music business. And two things happened at Belmont that were life-changing for Rich. Number one, and most importantly, he met the love of his life, Mindy, and they married a few years later. Secondly, he signed a record deal with a major label, Disney's record label called Hollywood Records. And Rich released an album called Rich Creamy Paint that did real well. And he wrote all the songs, sang all the vocals, played all the instruments. And so you can check it out online, Rich Creamy Paint. Then shortly after that, they took a year off from school to tour in support of the album. And then Pastor Ken felt led to bring Rich to Jacksonville as our student pastor. And so Pastor Ken hired Rich. He came for 3.5 years, and he and Mindy led our student ministry and did a fabulous job. Then God led Rich into marriage and family therapy. And so he went to Pasadena to Fuller Seminary to get a degree in marriage and family therapy. Graduated there and liked California so much they stayed out there. And so that's where they are today. And Rich is the owner of Sky Counseling. If you know someone or you need some marriage and family therapy, then Rich would be a great person to talk to. You can contact him at skycounseling.com. He's strictly online counseling. So if you like that, then that's what he does. So anyhow, I introduce to you my son, Rich Painter.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So we are just so grateful to be here. We're grateful to be with you all, and just grateful to be with family, our wonderful parents, my sisters, my lovely wife, and our wonderful son, Liam, who we're so proud of. And yeah, he's, I hate to bring it up, but he's entering into the teen years. He's 13. So please keep us in your prayers, you know. But no, he's doing great. But I do remember, 20 years ago being the youth pastor here. I can't believe it's been 20 years. And then, like Dad said, God did call me to be a therapist, and I work with families and couples and individuals. But 20 years ago when I was a youth pastor, I remember when the parents would bring their new teens back to the gym, the youth program, for the first time. They had that look in their eyes like deer in the headlights, like, help me. And I know that feeling because there's a lot of adjustments. There's a lot, of change and just adapting to that, being open to that. And so like one adjustment, Liam, he told me, Dad, don't tell any dad jokes. And I was like, why not? You used to love my dad jokes, So that's like an adjustment that I'm going through right now, So I figured, okay, maybe I can just ask if you've heard any dad jokes, okay? Like if you heard the one about the cheese that went to the gym, it's shredded, okay? Okay, well, hopefully everybody got to share, and I wish we had time where I could hear some of these great stories, but we don't have that kind of time. But maybe throughout the week you could share those with other people in the community. And but here's the thing, that Jesus always gave that transformative healing love to anyone that was open to it. Okay, and not everyone was open to it in that particular moment, but anyone who was, Jesus always left people better than before he met them, right? Because it's kind of like that saying, hurt people, but healed people heal people. So that's the invitation for everyone. Are we open to experiencing the healing, transformative love of Jesus and his kingdom so that we can be freed up to go and love and serve others. And I hope and pray that everyone is open to that. And our son Liam, he's going to come up and share in a little while. But I really just want to emphasize again just how grateful that we are to be here with you all. And we're grateful for the opportunity as a family to explore what that's like to follow Jesus and his kingdom on our upcoming mission trip to Uganda. And so thank you all for your prayers and support, and much love to you all. Thank you so much.
When ACOA was founded 16 years ago, we could have never imagined that it would grow into the cross-continent ministry that it is today. At the beginning, our dream was simply to rescue children and do whatever the Lord asked of us, and He's been so faithful. Throughout the years, we've stood firm in our purpose and haven't strayed from our mission. In partnership with the local church, we exist to glorify Christ through stabilizing the family unit and transforming entire communities. Today, that looks like many things, but our work is centered around 4 pillars: care for orphans and vulnerable children, making disciples, delivering quality, affordable healthcare, and pursuing justice by combating gender-based violence and human trafficking. We rescue vulnerable children and work diligently to resettle or reunify them with loving, empowered families at our residential child rescue center. Many children transition back into their family environments or are adopted by a Ugandan family. Sometimes there are cases where a child has no options and grows into adulthood under our care. We make sure those kids enter adulthood prepared to succeed. Today, we provide the highest level of true holistic care for 120 children. Another way we care for orphans and vulnerable children is through partnering with churches we have planted and pastors we have trained to help them partner with vulnerable families and their communities to offer food security, education, and weekend programs at the local church. We currently partner with 10 local churches and 500 families. Outside of Uganda's capital, there are very few services available for families of children with disabilities, and the stigma can push families to hide and neglect their children. ACOA provides practical resources and therapies to families of children with disabilities, empowering them to care for their own children and their own home through our Family and Disability Program. Right now, 65 families and their children are part of this program. Earlier this year, we opened a physiotherapy clinic that provides free physiotherapy services to children with disabilities, with the capacity to serve 180 children. It's already bringing hope, healing, and dignity to those with disabilities and their families. We provide high-quality health services to those who need it most through our House of Joy Hospital in Masaka, Uganda. ACOA believes all people should have access to a lab, trained medical professionals, and a full pharmacy to meet their needs. And we're humbled to continue growing our patient volume and reputation within the villages and greater Masaka. We also have a mobile medical clinic that sees anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people each day of operation. We strive to see the Great Commission fulfilled through sharing the gospel. Right now, over 20,000 people and 2,000 groups are meeting weekly in our Discovery Bible studies. Nearly 800 churches have been planted and are thriving. 8 indigenous missionaries have been mobilized in various nations across East Africa to preach the gospel and reach unreached people groups. And through our accredited partnership with Makerere University in Kampala, we run our Bible schools, equipping pastors and leaders in the local church. We have 120 Bible schools in operations across 9 nations. And to the glory of God, we've graduated 2,000 students and have 2,500 students currently enrolled. We work with the Ugandan government to combat human trafficking and gender-based violence in all of its forms. We also partner with the Sentinel Foundation based in North Carolina to train local law enforcement and to conduct investigations, carry out rescues, and make arrests. For short-term survivor care, we currently operate 4, soon to be 5, gender-based violence shelters. For the extended care, we shelter and rehabilitate survivors with a holistic, survivor-led, trauma-informed approach at our Tebow, Ocoa, Philippi campuses, established and operated in partnership with the Tim Tebow Foundation. Looking ahead, we have amazing opportunities for growth in the coming years, and this is thanks to the work of our incredible staff. Thanks to missionaries in the field, we hope to open 25 new Bible schools and mobilize 4 new missionaries in 4 new countries by the end of 2025. And we hope to expand our reach by opening more gender-based violence shelters to continue fighting human trafficking across the entire country. Our dream is that one day, these vital services are never out of reach for those in need. An additional physiotherapy center to continue meeting the needs of disabled children and families is also within our reach. With the success of our current center, we're primed not only to open another, but duplicated success all throughout Uganda. And finally, we hope to continue our trend of successfully resettling an average of 50 children each year into loving homes. At Ocoa Refuge, we do not believe any child should grow up in an institution. Therefore, we have a team of dedicated social workers who fight tirelessly to see these children get back into healthy families. At Ocoa, we know we do many things, but they all work together to extend radical love and redemption, only made possible by the power of the gospel. When all of these programs work together in a community, we consistently see the gospel change people. And then we see these people respond with love for the least of these. This touches and transforms entire communities, and from there, an entire nation for Jesus. It's not an exaggeration to say that none of this impact is possible without the kindness and generosity of people like you. Above all, please pray for the church in East Africa, and please consider giving and partnering with Ocoa Refuge to bring radical love and redemption to Uganda and East Africa. Thank you.
Well, Liam is our family miracle. And this year we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Liam's adoption from Uganda. And so to celebrate that, they are returning to Uganda to work at the Ocoa Refuge, to do a mission trip there for a week in October. And so you pray for them as they go. If you'd like to get involved helping them financially, I think they've raised about half of their support. There's a link where you can give to their trip, or you might just want to slip a Benjamin in their pocket this morning. That would be awesome. Or bring something by the church this week or next Sunday, and we'll see that they get it. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you one of my heroes. He's the class president of South Pasadena Middle School, Liam Painter. Love you, Liam. Love you.
Ooh. Let's just fix this. Hello. As you know, my name is Liam Painter, and I am the grandson of your wonderful pastor, Rick Painter. So first off, I would like to start off by telling you a story. So imagine being a middle school kid, walking to school miles away from your house, the dust from the dirt roads blinding your vision. You're tired from walking miles, knowing that you only have more to come until you reach your destination. Then you hear the cry of a baby boy, one who was left under a tree all alone. What would you do? Most of us would keep walking and hope for the best and pray for the baby to find their home, but not this kid. This teenager took this child and gave him to an elder who then gave him a name, Kokoza. This elder took care of this child she had no connection to, no reason to love or care for, and yet she did. She took great care of him, but sadly she soon became unable to care for Kokoza and then took him to a Christian orphanage nearby. For the next year, Kokoza was treated with strong, unconditional love from people who knew not where he was from, nor had any reason to love or care for him, and yet they did. Soon, a loving couple from America wished to adopt a child, so they flew to Uganda and then to the orphanage and met Kokoza. And they were only supposed to be there for 6 weeks, but they ended up having to stay for over 3 months. And over those 3 months, they laughed and played with Kokoza until they could finally adopt him. He left his orphanage, his village, and his country for the first time for the United States of America, where he was given a new name, Liam Kokoza Painter. Many of you may know him. Actually, most of you do, all of you do, because he's standing in front of you telling the beginning of his story, my story, a story that continues when I moved out west to the Golden State, that continues further when I first read 1 Peter 4:10, which says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. I've now realized more and more the best way I could show God's love is by using the gift God gave me of leadership. Through my 4 years on the student council, becoming class president, and being the Southern California Secretary General, I was able to mentor and help others in their journey and through their life. Additionally, learning from those who showed me so much kindness over the years, I tried my best to bring light and love to those who needed it the most. I tried to seize every opportunity to volunteer and serve, often without recognition, and I did this because I knew the lesson from Luke 6:35. Do good to them, lend to them, without expecting anything in return. If it weren't for the kid on the road in the village who went out of their way to help the crying baby, or if God hadn't moved the elder's heart to care for me, none of this would be possible, and none of this would be happening. These people's love and kindness have changed my life, and I have the opportunity to go back to that country, that village, and that orphanage, and be the person who will give my time and my energy to help, no matter the hardships. And despite how corny it sounds, I know that one act of faith, one word of kindness, and one act of love can change the world. Over the years, God's love for me has taken many forms. It's looked like my friends laughing and playing and bringing the joy in me to the surface. It's looked like my mom and dad always helping me whenever I needed it. God's love has looked like my teachers always pushing me to achieve and to do my best. God's love has even looked like my family here in Jacksonville, who's always cared and loved for me and given me so much wisdom. God's love has been with me all my life, and now I have this wonderful opportunity to share it with others in Uganda. I have the opportunity to help kids in the Argyle orphanage, and I will have the chance to build kitchens for those who do not have them. And I will also be able to share, preach, and spread God's good word to those who need it, those who need God's salvation and God's peace. And I will try to do what Jesus proclaims in Mark chapter 15, to go into the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation. God's love has always been there with me from my first breath to the ones I've been taking, and God's love will always be with me after my last breath. And I want to make sure that every single person has the opportunity to experience God's love. Going back to the first time I stepped in America, I was met with such unconditional love that I now know can only come from people like you who believe in God and the love of Jesus. And since that moment, I've grown so much as a Christian and as a person, and I've learned that kindness and love spread faster than wildfire. And knowing this, my family and I are planning a mission trip to Uganda to spread the kindness that others have shown to me and my family. And I have the chance to build better futures and change lives in my birth nation of Uganda. I can't wait to be able to bring the kingdom of God to those who have yet to experience it. And I thank you so much for your prayer and your support towards a mission trip. Thank you for your time, and God bless you.